Hello and welcome back to the BraaiPie channel. Today we're going to be doing something else different. Last video we did something I've never done before. We did a little playthrough of Hightail. Well, it wasn't a playthrough. I was testing the waters with a bit of a gameplay video. Yeah, it was a really good time. If you guys want to go check out that video, we had a really good time. And if you want more of that content, let me know. Today, we're going to stray a bit away from an aesthetic build and do more of a, I would say, functional build. And you can obviously cover this with whatever you want. But today, we'll be building the SuperSmelter that we featured in our, I believe it was called the only smelting setup you'll ever need video. And so yeah, we slimmed it down a bit. Kelpfarm is much smaller. You can obviously expand it however large you need it. So it's split into 3 sections that we have outlined over here, which is going to be the Kelpfarm, the Kelp-Block generator, I would say, the fuel generator, and then the smelter section. So with this farm, you're never going to be weary for smelting. You don't have to mine coal ever again except for torches. I'm gonna pop up what you need. You can just feel free and pause the video, to see the materials you're gonna need, and I'll be building it with light matica following that, but you can just follow me along. But if you are interested in the schematic, I will be linking it in my description, so you can just go ahead for my Java players. I am not sure if this farm works on Bedrock actually. Preface this with Java. This is inspired by a mumbo jumbo build. I did get this build from, most of this build from Mumbo Jumbo. He was using another kelp farm. He was using the same, what do you call it, SuperSmelter. But with the actual build, if we go and have a look over here, I was actually not using that SuperSmelter. That's what I mean when I say you can actually attach any SuperSmelter you'd like. You just have to use a bit of ingenuity, you know? Connect any SuperSmelter you want to this build. You can get creative with it, but I am going to be using the original smelter he was using. I did make some changes to the actual build, so I added in a section that, well, it makes the farm more efficient. There's a section over here with the copper bulb that checks if the smoker is still, or the smokers are still running. It doesn't allow the double chest to be sorted out of the system, so it prioritizes the system first. So that makes sure that all the smokers have only 2 kelp blocks at a time. There's a double failsafe here where if it's still smelting, it's not going to be sorting, and if there's still kelp, which is the second bit I added, if there's still kelp or anything in here, it's also not going to be sorting. So it's going to stay in this chest, wait till we sorted. But yeah, that's the sections I added to make the build my own. Full credit to Mumbo Jumbo for the super, like, just fantastic build. I gave him credit in my actual video as well. But yeah, let's get into the build. Okay, just quickly before we get into the build, I want to give you guys 3 tips that will help you out so you don't fall behind, because this is a pretty advanced build and I'm going to be moving pretty fast for how advanced this build is. So just so you can keep up, I'd recommend downloading Redstone Tweaks. It has a lot of directional indications as well as signal strengths for comparators. That just assists you a lot. And the next 2 are just orientation and direction. Make sure you pay close attention into which direction a component is facing, up, down, left, right, whatever. And I'm gonna be doing the build in layers, so you're gonna have to be following along, doing the build layer by layer with me. And I'll be having a top-down view with a grid, so you guys can follow along easier as well. So just if you're unsure about the orientation of a component, just have a look at that grid and the redstone tweaks, so you can follow along a bit easier as well, because the grid will be indicating the redstone tweaks orientations. So yeah, if you have any problems at all, just leave a comment. I'll help you out the best I can. And yeah, just also maybe just rewatch that section of the build. And yeah, let's get right into it. Alright, so I'm gonna start here with the Kelp-Block generator. So yeah, we're just gonna ignore these sections for now. So you're gonna place a section like this. I will be giving you an aerial view of the build as well, so you can follow along. And then you're gonna have this layout here, and then you're gonna place a sticky piston over here, like 2 blocks away from this stone brick. Then you're gonna place a redstone over here, a redstone repeater facing into the piston, and you're gonna set that to 4 ticks, and a redstone torch over there, so that's gonna activate. Then you're gonna place a redstone torch like in this section over here. I'll indicate it on the on the top view. And then you're gonna be placing a observer facing upwards. So in my case, I'm gonna place it like that, but you'd probably place 2 of these and then place this under it so it faces upwards. And then you place 2 observers going into this observer, your target block over here with a redstone torch and a piece of redstone next to it. And this we're going to count as part of the SuperSmelter. Okay, so that's this section done. Little piece of redstone over here as well. Okay, and a piece of redstone over here. So yeah, it's a bit of a sporadic build, but I promise you guys, if you just have a look at the top view, pay attention, you guys will get it. So next up, we are going to be placing some redstone on here, building block over here. And now you want to get your hoppers ready. I just want to set it today. So we're going to be placing hoppers here, 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 like so, leading all the way in front of the target block. Then we're going to be placing 2 comparators here, another target block over here, another piston over here that will activate because of the redstone torch we placed earlier, a observer facing downwards, then some building blocks, another observer facing upwards, 2 building blocks over here, and next to that observer then a redstone piece of redstone, a building block, and a redstone repeater facing into that redstone. And then over here on this little L section here, redstone repeater, redstone comparator, and then a copper bulb. So yeah, guys, just make sure that you're placing everything facing the correct way. I'm sorry if I'm going a bit fast here, but just you can slow down the video as well. But yeah, just pay close attention to the way it's placed. So over here, both of these comparators are facing into these hoppers over here. Okay, so we also have a dropper facing upwards here. This is a dropper, not a dispenser. a comparator facing into a building block and a redstone torch over there. And then we have another observer. So you're gonna have to place a block here and then place the block or place the observer on that block for it to be facing inwards. Okay, so moving on. Next layer. It's getting exciting now. So we're gonna start over here on this dropper we just placed facing upwards. We're gonna place another dropper on top of that and a observer facing away from that dropper. So you're gonna have to place a block here. I'm not gonna keep repeating that. Then we have a piece of redstone over here, piece of glass over here, and 2 blocks on that glass. So we're actually building the section that's gonna be collecting all of the, we're building the crafting mechanism right now. So then on top of this copper bulb, we're going to be placing a observer facing upwards to the sky. As you can see, his face is to the sky. Then we're going to be placing in front of these 2 comparators, we're going to be placing a double chest and a crafter, auto crafter behind that. So you do need experimental settings or experimental Minecraft to be able to build this farm, because you need a crafter, auto crafter. It's not possible without the auto crafter. Then a comparator facing out of the crafter, a piece of redstone up on this observer, another comparator facing in to the observer, and then a composter. But for the composter, you're gonna need some seeds so you can fill it up until it's completely full. So you just have to be careful here that you don't make it too full. As soon as it says 8, you should leave it. Then we're gonna be placing hoppers coming out of this crafting mechanism. Or well, yeah, going into it, but you're gonna place it against that and then against this all the way out. So you're gonna start from the, we're gonna just place these building blocks here just to make it easy. It's above this hopper or this set of hoppers here, 1 block away from the chest. So boom, 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 boom. There we go. That is going to be a part of the smelter, which we are going to be tackling in a minute. So there you have it, and a piece of redstone here. Cool, guys. So I'm hoping you guys are following along. Alrighty. Next layer. Now we're gonna whip out the smokers. So on these building blocks over here, we're gonna be just above the furnace where we just put these 2 building blocks and this redstone over here. We're gonna put another piece of redstone and then a comparator and a repeater that's going to be facing out of the smokers. Then we'll place down the smokers on top of the hoppers we just did. So hoppers, there we go. And then we're going to be placing hoppers facing into the smokers. Boom. There we go. Next to these, so we were just here, over here, next to these smokers, we're going to be placing another auto crafter, as well as a observer. So let me just check something real quick. Okay, yeah. This autocrafter is gonna have to have all of its top sections selected. Just the bottom row has to be unselected, because it has to give out a certain strength, signal strength. So it's similar to how, okay, let's just do the comparators first. So a comparator facing outward, and then a comparator facing parallel, or what do you call it, against this, right? So facing out of the smelter or the smoker. So the reason you want to select those is it works the same as a composter. So we could have used a crafter here with 8 blocks selected. So a crafter with 6 selected gives out a signal strength of 6 into a comparator. So then we're going to be placing all of these here, a 2x3 platform over here next to these comparators, going past the smokers, and then next to the smokers section we just did, we're going to place some more building blocks, and then next to, yeah, across from the smokers, we're going to do 2 more in this arrangement over here. And then we're going to build this glass platform above the chest, just so the chest can open. And we can still build on here. Then where we were doing the other droppers, we're going to be doing another dropper facing upwards and another observer facing down. So this observer is facing down, and this dropper is facing up. Yeah. Alrighty. So that is what we have, what we're working with so far. Alrighty, for the next section, we're going to be placing hoppers all on top of the smokers, and we are going to get your railing, right? Your rails, your powered rails, your normal rails, your activated rails, right? Your detector rails, I mean. And so you're going to be placing, where we put that glass section on top of the chest earlier, you're going to be placing just one piece of glass here on the edge of this piece of glass, right? Right? And then we're going to be putting some powered rails all along this section, and then 2 normal rails on these hoppers over here, and then more powered rails going across like this, and then another rail right here, a normal rail, and then a detector rail going upwards. So you're gonna have to place a normal rail here, so this detector rail comes up here, and then you break it, and then it should stay here. Then we're gonna be placing another autocrafter over here next to these hoppers, and if we have a look over here where that autocrafter is, let me just see, it has to have 2 selected. Then another comparator out, comparator against, I guess, comparator facing out of the detector rail, and then a repeater facing into a building block we're going to be placing next to this autocrafter. Then in the middle of this contraption, 2 building blocks, another target block over here, a dropper facing upwards, and then some redstone in this formation over here with 2 comparators facing different ways so that the redstone forms like a circuit over here. Alrighty, so that's that section. Next up, we're going to be placing our redstone blocks on top of these powered rails, some stone bricks behind these redstone blocks, and then some hoppers next to them. And then we're going to be placing some powered rails here, and you don't have to worry about them being flat now. So then we're going to be placing a building block here, boom, 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 right across, and then another building block, another redstone block, another building block, and a piece of glass over here. And then on this target block, we're going to be placing a redstone torch with a sticky piston and 2 redstone bricks. We're not going to be using any normal pistons, I believe. So if I refer to a piston, it's just a piston, a sticky piston. Alrighty, then over here, the hoppers are going to be facing into this section. We're going to be having a hopper minecart over there on the detector rail. So let's place that over there. Hopper minecart, boom, boom. So we got that over there. I believe that is it. And then we're going to be finishing this section off with more normal rails. Rails going right around the detector rail right here. Boom. And then out of that detector rail, a comparator and 4 building blocks in an L formation over here. And then another rail facing out of this rail. That'll make sense in a minute. Comparator facing here. A piece of redstone on this redstone block. A building block facing or against this comparator over here. And a detector rail on top of this glass block over here, with 2 building blocks that we're going to be needing for now. So to get this detector rail to stand up over here, we're gonna, or to, you know, yeah, stand up, I would say. We're gonna place another one there and break it, and that's what you're gonna do. That's the technique, you know. That's how you do it. That's what I would have done, you know. Then next layer, we're going to be putting a piece of redstone here, a redstone or a repeater over here going out of this. So this is all on top of this block where the comparator is going into. Then a piece of redstone here, a repeater, 2 more building blocks, and then where this comparator is going into, a redstone torch and a sticky piston going out of that torch. Then on top of that detector rail we were doing earlier, we're going to be placing a hopper minecart and a hopper going out of that hopper minecart, which you're going to have to bring across from this building block over here. And I believe that is the kelp mechanism done. So this bad boy is gonna be turning your kelp into kelp blocks. Oh, haha. So this rail should be facing inward. Just make double sure of that when you're building. Okay, just for a little demonstration, what you need to get the farm going is 2 kelp blocks in each. So I suggest you smelt up some kelp while you're busy with the farm. So just put in 2 kelp, dried kelp in each smoker just to get it going, you know, like perpetual motion, you know, that doesn't exist, but we're playing Minecraft and such. Then what's gonna happen is when all of these pieces or all of these sections are full with kelp, this bad boy is going to release, right? Or it should release. I don't know why it's not releasing. I think yeah, there it goes. It's gonna fill all of these smelters with kelp, you know, and it's gonna start crafting your kelp in this chest and feeding some of the kelp blocks back into the system. And there we go, it just stopped. So all of the kelp is now in the system, getting smelted up, and we have some dried kelp blocks recycling into the system. So it's going to keep it running for the foreseeable future. We're crafting up some kelp blocks over here. As you can see, what did we miss over here? Okay, there it goes. And it's going to go past 2 times, and it's going to fill each smelter back up with 2 kelp. So it already went by once before, that's why there's 3 in there now. But yeah, that's how it works. It's always going to be filled with 2 kelp blocks. Okay, so yeah, that's the kelp crafter complete. So now we'll be moving on to the actual kelp farm. So let's start this shit up. You're just going to come down here, and next to this building block over here, right across from the kelp farm, looks like this. You're gonna go 2 blocks down, place some building blocks in here, and then place a redstone torch over here and some redstone in the actual in the trench, and then a building block over here, and then obviously a redstone torch on there. Now we're gonna get started with the kelp farm, and for that we're gonna have to extend upon this section over here. And then break a section over here. We're going to be covering this back up, so across from where you just dug that trench, we're going to be hollowing out the earth like so. So yeah, just where you built this trench next to this redstone torch, you're going to be building a 6 by 5, with this being like, yeah, see, 3 this way and 5 that way and 2 this way. So it's going to be offset by 1. So then what you're going to do is place a target block here, a dispenser facing upwards, so you're going to place it, probably dig down, place it upwards. Then 2 comparators facing out of this dispenser, 3 redstone out of that, well, not 2 comparators, I mean a comparator and a repeater out of this dispenser, and then 3 redstone out of that repeater, and then another redstone into the target and the comparator. Then what you're going to do is to place 2 hoppers here coming out of the dispenser, and or while leading in. I'm saying coming out, but that what I mean is that you're going to be placing it against it, so it's going to be funneling into there. Then 2 pieces of redstone next to these hoppers, and then what we're going to do is basically we're going to cover up this entire hole. Sorry if you have a low tool, I guess. Just fill in the hole. Bit hasty there. But keep the section on top of the hoppers and the dispenser open. So these 3 blocks, just keep that open. Then on top of the dispenser, place some soul sand. On top of one of the hoppers, place a stone brick, like a building block. It doesn't have to be stone brick. And then on top of the hopper, another hopper going straight into that hopper. And there we go. Now we have the dispensing mechanism down. So next we're going to go into the actual kelp farm. So on top of this, there's going to be some water going. But with all of these circuits going, we need to be careful with that water, because it's going to lead maybe into this trench and spring up all of our redstone. So we're going to go from this corner over here, building block out, and then building blocks all the way over to the other corner, like so. Then connecting the 2 corners, glass, and 2 building blocks. Then we're going to do the same on this side, building blocks to the other corner, and then connect them with more building blocks. And these can be building blocks as well. I just chose to do them cobblestone because I don't know, the kelp's going to be on them. And then leading into this hopper, we're going to do another row of hoppers. And then 3 building blocks surrounding the soul sand. And we're gonna build these walls up 1 level higher, with glass in between this section over here where the kelp's gonna go. So we can't place the kelp as of yet. We first need to finish the enclosure and then put some water in here. So I just put some glass over here so you can see the bubbles and the kelp going up. That's totally optional. So next we're going to be placing on the outer rim of this mechanism some building blocks, and then some pistons facing inward. Some more glass over here, and the same as that we did on the outer rim, some building blocks and pistons. And then in this midsection over here, we're going to be placing some fence gates that is going to be blocking the water, and some glass, building block glass, just to, you know, continue this wall, and building block glass, just to continue this pipe over here. And so next we're going to be placing a building block. I'm on the furthest left corner, as you can see. Building block over here, building block over here, and then connect the other corner with redstone and 2 building blocks as well, with observers facing inward. So yeah, the face of the observer should be facing that way, away from you. Then another building block glass to continue this wall. And you're going to do the same on this side. So 2 building blocks, connect with a redstone, 2 building blocks, and observers. And then 3 glass to continue this glass wall. This is also totally optional. I just like seeing the kelp grow, so that's why it's there. So yeah. Next, we're going to be covering up this redstone. Boom. Boom. And then glass over here. Covering up the redstone on this side as well. Glass building block glass. Continuing this pipe over here. And then we're going to be placing some water, a water bucket. So I recommend you do a little sorry about that. You do a little infinite water source over here, maybe over here. You know, get your water, fill in this entire section, and then as well finish up this tower over here, this pipeline. It's gonna go up and over and onto this hopper, because that's where all the kelp has to go into. So just like that, make sure you cover all these grounds. Again, the glass doesn't have to be glass, it's just nice. Cover all these grounds so that the water doesn't spill out. Then you can place your water source right here. Boom. It's going to flow onto this hopper. Then what you're going to need is you're going to need some kelp. And you have to swim down, don't drown. Let's see what happened here. Okay, no, wait. You see this? This is going to be an issue. This is why you have to make sure you cover all the sections with at least building blocks. So you're going to swim down and place kelp all the way upwards, making all of them water source blocks. And you can break them again. And so then it's going to be a water pillar, a bubble pillar, which is going to be collecting or shooting up all the kelp we're going to need, or you're going to need for the kelp farm. Alright, next we're going to be placing our kelp. While we're on the topic, I'm placing our kelp down here on all the cobblestone, and that's why I chose to do the cobblestone. It just makes it a bit easier. And then we're gonna probably cover this bad boy up, eh? Well, first we're gonna do some more fences. And that's that. That's the kelp farm done. So this kelp farm is going to be generating you kelp passively, shooting it up this bubble column and into this hopper over here. And you can also cover this with, you know, building blocks or building blocks and glass, this water section, so you don't lose any kelp here on the sides. Alrighty. That is the kelp farm complete. Next up, we're going to be doing the SuperSmelter section. So for the super smelter, we're going to be doing a trench as well. So the furnaces, the chest, the collection chest, and some of the hoppers are going to go inside of the ground, as well as the hoppers in the back. So yeah, let's just do that real quick. So from this corner over here, you're going to go 1 to the left, 2 away, and then you're going to dig out a trench up into across the other corner. And these can all stay here. And you're going to dig it too deep, but not too deep. And you're going to remove these sections as well over here. So from the chest, where you can see the chest right now, we're going to take away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 blocks from all the way over here where we started, and the top ones as well. As you can see, that's where the furnaces are going to go. And at the back, we're going to do 1 deep, about the same length. Boom, 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 boom. And that is your trenching done. So let's start at the bottom. We're going to be placing a double chest over here to the far right. Then some hoppers. 1 hopper facing into the double chest and the rest going out of that hopper all the way to the end. Then we're going to be placing furnaces, good old normal furnaces, on top of all those hoppers. And hoppers going out of each one of the furnaces. So not 1 out of here and the rest going this way like we just did. 1 out of each furnace. What am I saying? Furnace. Sorry guys, it's late. Filming this a bit late. And yeah. Here we go. Then we're going to be placing hoppers in typical super smelter fashion on top of all of these. So I recommend you guys have a iron farm before you do this, or you're pretty well established in the game before you create this farm. So then you create this L shape with building blocks and powered rails all along to just past the hoppers, and then a detector rail, a building block, and we have to get this detector rail on top of here, so you just place the detector rail like that, like we did with the crafter. Then 4 building blocks here connecting to this corner, and what we're going to do is we're going to be placing a auto crafter over here with, let me just double check, with 2 selected. Boom. A comparator, and a comparator this way, leading into the kelp crafter with a redstone a redstone dust over there. Then yeah, we're almost there, boys. Then on top of these 4 building blocks we just placed, we're gonna do comparator, and another crafter, and this crafter, he's gonna have 1 selected over there, a building block over there next to this comparator, 2 building blocks here at the back of where we're going to be placing, or where the detector rail is. Then we're gonna do some more powered rails all along the hoppers on top and extend past to this building block here on the end. And to power all of these powered rails, one redstone block, as you can see, that powered them all. And then to obviously get this detector rail up here, you can place any rail, doesn't have to be a detector rail, and a building block against this sticky piston we placed earlier, and a minecart hopper on this detector rail. And then just cherry on top of this building block, we're going to be putting a redstone torch. Out of this redstone torch, we're going to be putting a sticky piston with a building block, and at the back of this detector rail, another building block with another minecart hopper. And so why is this guy not lifted up? Didn't we lift you up? We lifted you up, man. I can strictly recall we did that. Alrighty. And then at the very top, another double chest. So what's gonna happen is all the kelp is gonna go into here, and this mechanism is gonna allow this kelp go out from here and fill up the SuperSmelter. And whenever you want to smelt something, you just place it up in this chest over here, and it will populate your furnaces with that item. So yeah, guys, I hope that was clear enough. If you guys have any questions about the build, I'm sure you would have. We were moving a bit fast over there, but yeah, just go back, watch the video again if you were struggling. And then feel free to drop me a comment if you are struggling with anything else, functionality of the farm and such. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.